Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life as usual. Wanted to talk to you about something tonight. Most people are familiar with how I've been working over the last 6 years, and I'm gaining knowledge as I go, and that's the way it works when you do your research and you're diligent about researching everything. And this system that we're looking at today in this electronic format and everything and all the credit accounting, they've been working on this for a long time. So we're going to discuss something tonight, and I'm hoping people will share this just like all other videos, of course. The system that we're working on today is gearing up to go full-blown digital. Everybody hears about the digital accounting and everything, and they're going to supposedly take all the paper fiat currency out of the system. Everybody's going to be doing digital accounting, digital banking. It's the crypto thing. And this is what I've been explaining to people about crypto for years. You know, when you get involved in that crypto, you're involving yourself in a false trust. It's based upon the digital transactions, and somebody in the middle is taking over that transaction. It's not going from point A to point B like you think it is. Okay? There's always going to be a middleman, and who you decide who that middleman is up to you. I hope people will start learning to make wiser choices and realize it should never be a, quote, banker or broker. It should be the Postal Service. They are the ultimate authority over those transactions. They have a cybersecurity network set up so that it protects them. So if you use their system and make it blatant and true by establishing your own domain extension as a non-commercial private foundation, it automatically, the system itself automatically takes over. So if you've got, like me right now, I've got the PayPal, but it's on the other side of that domain extension. It's still out there in their domain where somebody else, like PayPal, Zoom, can take over that transaction. And so I have to deal with, like I did PayPal, I have to deal with Zoom to try to get that taken care of. Because at this point, it's not established as a transit routing for those wire transfers. That part of it is still established in that old record that needs to be corrected yet. So while I've got the private foundation established, the record that existed prior is still there and it's still operative, and I have to find a way to get that moved over to the other side yet. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm working on, getting a few people to realize that I can't be licensed. And through those commercial entities, it will enforce what I'm saying through the state record that, hey, somebody's been operating this account in error all its life. Not all my life, all of its life. And so what we're looking at today is something called Hawala. Okay? When computers first came out, like I said, before that, everything was on paper. They didn't have the digital form. And then computers came out, and already, as soon as they came out, when those computers came out, they first came out as decoders. They had foreign languages that they weren't able to read, but they could program it into a computer that could think about it quicker. In that decoding, they set up a code system. Okay? That's how the computer system, the entire electronic system runs, is through a digital system. An electronic system that is coded by numbers. Okay? It's the same thing as all your foundational documents, like the Constitution and stuff. They have enumerations in them. Now, the foundational document itself, according to the Treaty of Berne, has no legal significance. You can read that in Treaty of Berne. The Constitution itself, it doesn't have any legal significance. So that tells us the legal significance. And again, it doesn't come from the Law of Nations. It's the Treaty of Berne that states that. So the legal significance should come from the Treaty of Berne, right? Okay. Like I've been explaining to people, Treaty of Berne is what indentures the universal Constitution of the Universal Postal Union, and that indentures both the Treaty of Berne and the Law of Nations, and then everything else is under that. That Universal Postal Union operates all postal roads and routes from end to end, country of origin to final destination, and all points in between. There shouldn't be any points in between, though. So, the Hawala that we see today is actually what's known as a trust. So let's look up the term Hawala. And I want people to pay attention. This is an Investopedia. It's an investment term. Okay? That's why I source Investopedia for a lot of the commercial terms, trust terms, things like that. Money, legal tender, currency, national currency, reserve currency, things like that. You look them up on the investment sites. Fidelity, GMEI, but I like Investopedia. So, what is Hawala, and should you trust it? Hawala is an informal, and don't get that wrong, folks. I tell everybody everything's backwards. So when you read this, it doesn't mean it's informal. It doesn't need form. It means it's in a formal format. Matthew 18 verses 15 through 20. Come to your brother in private. It's informal. It's private. Hawala is an informal, private method of transferring money without any physical money actually moving. Method of transferring money without any physical money actually moving. Does that sound like today's credit system? Well, this account has this much money in it, so we're going to credit this other account with that money first. Then we're going to deduct the credits from this account because this account has now been proven to be paid. The transfer is proven, so now the accounts payable is taken care of. Accounts receivable is taken care of on this side. When we have a money man in the middle, this accounts receivable still gets taken care of because the man in the middle got it, so it automatically gets deducted. But if that middleman's the wrong middleman, guess what? You just got ripped off. You just got ripped off. Okay, it is described as money transfer without money movement. Another definition is simply trust. So if you're using commercial paper, are you operating in trust? Or is it a false trust? If you do it electronically and you don't have the right middleman, is it too a false trust? Why is it a false trust? Because you're the one liable. Remember my video yesterday, concise construction? If you don't construct it concisely, you're the one that's liable. It's up to you. You're the one that has to build your foundation or prove your foundation and not try to construct it on somebody else's foundation as if though that's your foundation. We're not supposed to pay a tribute to an earthly father, for there is but one Father which art in heaven, and that's where your true trust should be. And so in every matter that you do, you should make sure that the one on the other end of the line is not a middleman. So keep taking your cases to court and dealing with the middleman. I'm not going to deal with the middleman anymore. I've got my site set up, and now I deal with the man, the one that poses the trust, as we explained a few days ago in another video. If that's the trust, and they're the ones that provide all the security, cyber security for all of the routing, and you have a private route, that should show that your connection is not to be interrupted through third parties unless they have qualified third parties through the granting party. In the electronic case, the postal union, who uses the parliamentary, international parliamentary union as a sister union, just like the Treaty of Berne has a sister set of codes, a sister construct, a sister document. They're sister foundational documents, the Treaty of Berne and Law of Nations. Under that, you've got the Universal Postal Union and the International Parliamentary Union to enforce the code of Her Majesty's Uniform Customs Codes in alliance with the Universal Postal Union and the Law of Nations. That's their trust. And it's already set up through the cybersecurity that they put in their electronic system that regulates all of the other electronic environments in that system. So let's go on. That's who the true trust is with. And that's who you should establish it with. And you should establish it as a beneficiary, a non-commercial private foundation, and not a .com site. As a .com site, you are the middleman and the other parties are the beneficiary. Understand that. You are partaking as the middleman with .com sites, guys. Hawala is used today as an alternative remittance channel route that exists outside of traditional banking systems. The traditional banking systems are inside the alternative remittance channel, which is the postal union. Transactions between Hawala brokers. See, when you use a .com site, you're a broker. The presumption of the record is you are a broker, or you are a relative or connected directly to a broker who can handle the commercial transactions. And they are made without promissory notes because the system is heavily based on trust. And the balancing of Hawala brokers' books, which are the trustees, the holders of the records, and not the beneficiaries of the system, because the beneficiaries of the system don't keep books. Not for public use. For private use in public domain. See, these Hawala brokers outside the system, or inside the system, that's for public use. An alternative remittance channel is a private channel. Key takeaways. Hawala, sometimes referred to as underground banking, is a way to transmit money without any currency actually moving. So, that currency is the fiat currency known as the commercial paper. So it is a way of transmitting money without any paperwork. Okay, it's a digital transfer. That's all it is. Hawala networks have been used since ancient times, and today are widely found among expatriates sending remittances home. They're telling you people how to do this and where to do it from. The appropriate angle, the appropriate approach. According to Concise English, it's the appropriate approach, an outside approach, an alternative channel. Hawala provides anonymity in its transactions, as official records are not kept, and the source of money that is transferred cannot be traced. Hawala is finding a footing in the world of financial technology, which grants access to money transfers among the unbanked and underbanked populations of the world. Unbanked. Did someone bank you? Did somebody put levees on each side of you so they could channel you? I don't know who's watching this, but it's 6:35 p.m. and I got 3 viewers. So whoever's watching this, please share the hell out of this, guys. Because this is just sickening. Trying to show people the reality in the concise construction of the language, and nobody wants to pay attention. So please, brothers, share this as much as possible. Some countries, like India, have made Hawala illegal due to its informal nature and absence of regulation or oversight. Some countries, like India, have made Hawala illegal due to its informal nature and absence of regulation or oversight. This shows you that India, as a country, does not understand the private channeling. This tells you that the people that are running this place called India don't understand this concept. Because if they did, they would have their own .gov site and realize it's regulated under the .post domain, which is the cybersecurity domain of the world. See, when I go onto my site, BraveNet is the host server. Whenever you get on the internet, the ultimate host server is the Postal Union. Understand this. Hawala originated in South Asia during the 8th century and is used throughout the world today, particularly in the Islamic community, as an alternative means of conducting funds transfers. Unlike the conventional method of transferring money across borders through bank wire transfers, money transfer in Hawala is arranged through a network of Hawaladars or Hawala dealers. So when you deal with this wire transfer in the bank wires, which is not a postal wire, remember this, bank transfers are not the same as postal wires. Okay? Money transfer in Hawala is arranged through a network of Hawala dealers. That's telling you there's a multiple, at least 2. Okay? So now if you think you're dealing with a middleman in these transactions, like I said with PayPal and Zoom, I'm trying to get rid of the middleman so it's going straight through the top dog and directly to me. From the point of origin to the top dog, so he can commit to his duty and transit it directly to the final destination. Okay? He is the original trust dealer. Hawala dealers keep an informal journal. Okay? Not a record. An informal journal to record all credit and debit transactions on their accounts. It's a private journal on their accounts. It's not a record. It's their record, which is known as a journal. An informal journal being a private journal. Debt between Hawala dealers can be settled in cash, property, or services. Debt between Hawala dealers can be settled in cash, property, or services. Not private entities. Private entities use the International Bank of Settlements with that International Parliamentary Union and the Postal Union through Congress. See, it's the union, the Postal Congress that judicially regulates the United States Congress. All them governors and the president, they all have a duty to the Director General of the International Union, the Director General of the International Bureau. A Hawaladar who does not keep their record or keep their end of the deal in the implied contractual system of Hawala will be tagged as one who has lost their honor and will be excommunicated from the network or region. Okay? If you're a private entity and they violate the private routing, you can have them excommunicated. That's their wallet. It isn't the Congress of the United States that regulates the fiat currency known as commercial paper within their system. It's the implied contractual system that they're operating as the electronic form when they start demanding emails and shit and start communicating with you through email or post their .com sites. You can have them removed from the World Wide Web, and therefore they lose their advertisement, and therefore their money goes down greatly because people now have to use snail mail. Okay? Now tell me if you think the commercial paper is going to go digital. How can commercial paper go digital if today's legal tender is known as negotiable instrument, and you can write down your negotiable instrument despite anybody else's rates of currencies? This is the stuff we have to think about, that it says excommunicated. You no longer have lines of communication. You've fallen out of honor and no longer have the ability to negotiate. You've proven your incompetence. This is why I ask people not to act like me when I did in my last court case. Don't be a belligerent. Come in peace, be in peace, and pass in peace. I'm still working on this today. I know the struggle. I'm working on it. But I express to you that it is imperative, because this is truly how it works. So again, I urge everybody to set up their own private sites. .art extension, .literature extension. If you're a poet, and you like to write a lot of poetry, put it under a .literature. If you like to express your talents in educating people in a certain thing, you can put it as a .edu. You can truly put it as a .gov if you establish yourself as your own private government. But again, that domain extension is regulated by the Postal Service. So you have to ask them about the regulations and qualifications for using a .gov site. By setting up a private site with a non-commercial entity, and then just being allowed to post it on the World Wide Web, that shows you that you're already under the postal regulations and are in honor, because you haven't been excommunicated. And that's not to say that they can't just turn around and create another site and pop up again under a new name. That's what the digital system allows. But for the old, all the old orders and everything, and old customers, to get them to convert, they now have to give them notice through the snail mail of their new site. So it's still effective to slow them down. Let them know that you're not going to be monkeyed with, things like that. And this is what I wish people would start coming together on, because you're all doing it wrong. If you're writing documents and you don't know what you're writing and you're handing it to them, they know you're liable because you sound like an idiot. So let's get on to the next one. So as I'm diligently doing my research, and again, this is Investopedia. I'll post all these links and everything, but this is, it talks about the foreign exchange right there. To encourage foreign exchange transfers through Hawala. Dealers sometimes exempt expatriates from paying fees. Why is that? Because, like I said, Hawala is the postal union, and they guarantee freedom of transit is guaranteed throughout the entire territory of the union. They cannot charge fees. You just have to prove that you're not an expatriate, but actually a private foundation. That's all it takes. You're a private foundation. All you do is freely express your artistic creativity. Your artistic creativity. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He created all of us, and we are all his creatures. And we are told to minister his word unto all creatures. Okay? So let's go on to the next one. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. That is CISA.gov. Okay. This is, and it tells you it's page 3. They've got various number of pages. You know, if we go back, you'll see this is page 2. This is page 1. And all I did was, just clicked on some things and I got to this page. And it says National Cyber Awareness System. That's the NCAS. Securing end-to-end communications. Okay. I clicked on that. And it comes up to this page. Overview. Securing end-to-end communications. Systems affected. Networked systems. It's an internet work system. Internet work system. Okay? Learn how to comprehend this stuff. Securing end-to-end communications plays an important import-export role in protecting privacy and preventing some forms or informals of man-in-the-middle attacks. Man-in-the-middle attacks. Okay? This is what I explained to PayPal without using these terms. But now that we know this, we can use this. PayPal is providing a man-in-the-middle attack, going through a Hawala system, communicating with another Hawala, saying that this guy, me, Keith Orland Little, Faith-Based Union, owes money. When that is false. That is a man-in-the-middle attack. Recently, researchers described a MITM attack used to inject code, causing unsecured web browsers around the world to become unwitting participants in a distributed denial of service attack. The same code can be employed to deliver an exploit for a particular vulnerability or to take other arbitrary actions. People, pay attention to the email scams and stuff that you get that say that you're due a refund because a subscription plan was renewed. Norton, Zelle, PayPal, Amazon, or any kind of order was put to your credit card and they're offering you a refund if it wasn't your transaction. First, check with your bank account, see if that transaction actually was deducted. And if it wasn't, just change your account number and stuff. Go through the hassle of changing that. Don't even call these people up. Okay? Because what they're doing is they're using a third-party Hawala to, in that network systems, capture emails. And in those, so what they do is they can get into those emails and they get certain information. They can't get your financial information, but just like Google and Facebook and Twitter and stuff, they can go into your file and pick out personal identification information and sell it. advertised to you, things like that. And so what they do is they get that email address, and then they find out kind of recent purchases, and then they'll use that site and construct an email, like say you ordered something from Amazon 3 months ago. And they'll send you a notice from Amazon saying somebody just recently made a purchase and that it might be suspicious activity. So if you want a refund, call this number. So then you call the number, and what you've actually done is you received an email scammer who sent you a notice so he can get your financial information through the Hawala system. This is why I do what I'm doing. I've known about these kind of things. I haven't been able to comprehend how they work, but I know something's wrong, and I'm not going to enter into it. And I've told you I've had the same Yahoo email for almost 25 years, folks. I've stood my ground, and I check things when they come in. I'm the importer. I'm the exporter. I'm the one that makes the decisions on my business. I've always been like that. So think about this stuff. Sorry about that. So let's go back to it. So now we see the securing end-to-end communications, and like I discussed in 19 CFR 149.3, the buyer, seller, and ship to party can give a number in lieu of the name and address, and you can do so because you're using a electronic communication, and you can do so because the importer of the record is liable, and therefore if you do give him a name and address, he is liable for that record. Understand how it works. Do not be afraid, and just let them know that you want end to end from the point of origin to the final destination, with the only Hawala allowed to do so according to the network systems, and that is the designer and coordinator of that system, which is the Universal Postal Union. All communications. And this goes to the Treaty of Berne and its protection of literary and artistic works. You have the right to press your record in any media. Okay? Let's go on to the next one. When we're talking about this, we're talking about the enterprise virtual private networks. Okay? Virtual private network. Enterprise virtual private network securities. And again, I really don't like this term because it's not actually a private or a enterprise. I'm not entering into their prize system. And so we do see the enter though. And this is what we're talking about, is proper entry into the record. Proper entry to the record, like I've discussed before, I eventually want my own server network so I can set up my own virtual private network so that we can directly communicate end to end and only use just the network, and we don't have a third-party email or third-party electronic server other than that postal system, which is what we're using through the servers. See, they're the server that you have to enter. Their server system is what you have to enter. That's their service. Okay? They're the ones that are providing the network system. That's their service. And that's what we're entering. But we're not entering for any kind of prizes. We're entering for virtual private network security. And it's already set. They already set it for themselves. They're the ones that have to protect all of the records they hold. Okay? So having a private routing from their network, they have to protect everything I've got on my domain. It's already agreed to. It's set forth in their codes. And the next one talks about the top routinely exploited vulnerabilities. Now, this is a long list, people. So I'm not even going to attempt to go through it. But there's all kinds of intrusions that they list. And this is just something I'm going to download for my own record keeping so I can hopefully someday go back if I ever need to. But that's it. And they talk about those virtual private networks and stuff. So let's go to the next one. I think it's this one here. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is how the Hawala system works. Okay. You're this guy right here. Okay. Right here at the bottom, the family. You're the family guy, and they're going to tear you up. Because you're using this network system, and you got all kinds of people over here offering lower transfer fees, when we already know that you can do it without any fees. So you should know by them offering a lower transfer fee and not quite being fully disclosing of the fact that you can do it with no fees, that something's hinky already. Okay? You should know this already. They're offering you lower transfer fees. They're offering you financial access by use of financial options. Savings, credit, insurance. Savings, credit, or insurance. Now everybody's running around with savings, credit, and insurance. When if all you work on is this credit system, you don't need savings and you don't need insurance. Because if the proper credit routing is set up privately, it is already insured, like I said, through the network system. And that network system is already saving all the data elements, which is in fact what your savings are. They keep the money, and the data elements show that you are still active. Okay? Enhanced financial inclusion through remittance-linked financial services. Like I just said, the data elements are the financial foundation. And if you keep those data elements at the top level, that's your top service. That you're linked directly to the top service. So my only problem right now is getting the postal service to accept the title. And like I've explained before, I believe the process is to take all those titles with expenses incidental at the state level and send them back to the agencies with directives to all of those to then transfer the title to the United States in the interest of the United States on and for the record of the United States for full acquittance and discharge. And then along with those, returning all those titles to agency, you're going to return the driver's license to the DMV and the and the certificate of title to the Department of Transportation. You're going to all your licenses back to the licensing commissioner. You're going to send the Social Security card back to the Social Security Administration. And in that one, your directive is to have them close the account, transfer all securities to the United States. Title to all securities to the United States. That's 49 CFR. I've posted it many times. It's 49 CFR, 42 CFR, and 39 CFR. And all you got to do is put those CFRs in and then expenses incidental to transfer of Title to, and it should pull them all up. It should pull them up. 49 CFR, expenses incidental to transfer of Title to, and it should put out expenses incidental to transfer of Title to agency. It'll fill it in. So, let's go back to the Hawala here. Because when we're dealing with these scammers, this is what they're doing. They're trying to include you in a remittance of a refund. Okay? So they send you a email because of their piracy, I'll call it. I will call it piracy because that's what it is. They're pirating electronic information. Okay? So when you enter things into this automated commercial environment and it floats around there unsecured with all of these other Hawalers, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Google, Yahoo, any site you ever visit, Amazon, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal. Every last one of them is a Hawala. And every last one of them has data elements that are worth money, depending upon how it's used. And that's what we're stopping. It's not going to sit in their hands, and they are no longer, as bank holding companies, are no longer going to hold anything. They are mere pass-through along the route from end to end. And the only data elements they can capture are the ones that are already preset, so they can just make the automatic transfer. Nothing else. No offers, no refunds, because they shouldn't be giving you an offer or a refund for anything that's already free. Okay? Again, the transfer is free. That's all you got to establish. It's already paid for. They're already paid through the actual union. They are acting as a union member, as a Hawala of the Hawala itself, of the trust. Okay? And this is what they're doing. They see a gap in the data. It's not going end to end. There's all kinds of people with their grubby hands up your ass reaching your wallets. And so they reach in too. And that increases the market competition, because like a bunch of piranhas, they smell meat. And that supports an enabling environment. So again, I urge you people, if you're not wanting to support that environment, learn how to create your own. I've already done this in a developmental stage, and like I said, I'm still trying to work on getting those data elements all the way over to the private side and making the Postal Service the actual bank routing, so that even though I've got a PayPal card, PayPal is just a pass-through for the Postal Service, and they're no longer a pass-through for the IRS or the Social Security Administration. They now have to recognize the Postal Service. Okay? Because if they're the Hawala and they are operating under the Hawala, then the operator of the Hawala is the one that gave them that trust position to be a Hawala. And that's what it is. Hawala is the trust. And the operators of that trust have the power over the Hawalers, which are the trustees under that trust. Like I said, it's all the bank, postal union. The postal union runs the banks, the railroads, the roads, the canals, everything that moves in commerce, and everything that moves outside of commerce. They're the ones that move everything. And that postal union is a union of navies around the world, indentured under the law of nations, so that if they have to go to war, they will. To protect a country, they will go to war. Quit being belligerents, because the war is already there. It's already here. We live under martial law, people. I've told you many times, the Libra Code tells us succinctly in Article 10, the martial law affects chiefly the police and the collection of public revenues and taxes. And of course, it's for the Army's use and in the efficiency of safety and efficiency of its operations. That's it. If you're not in that war, prove it. Quit using their fiat currency known as commercial paper. Learn how to stand on your word by putting it down succinctly so they can't say that you're liable. And when we do that on the private side, even if you do have an error in the English, they can no longer say that you're liable, because then it would just be a general mistake, a general error. So bring an English major in. Let's get some assistance in here. Let's upgrade. So think about this, people. I hope you enjoyed the video today. When we're talking about trust, that's what it is. It's all about the electronic routing, and the scammers know how to use it, and that's how they get away with it. Every electronic entry onto that keyboard, whether it be pressing numbers, numbered keys, or other identifiers, it's your liability. You're the one expressing the trust in that trust environment. If you're expressing it, you better learn first how to express it as a trustee by always claiming as the trustee first and foremost. Or excuse me, beneficiary. I'm sorry, beneficiary. Free transfers as a beneficiary. Enough people start educating themselves on that, and then start passing that education on to all these Hawalas and the actual Hawala themselves. And then more people will learn how to comprehend this in its most basic sense. So again, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. I'm going to post all these links along with my PayPal link. Please hit that PayPal button and share some love. Share all the links, share the content, and of course share the video. Like I said, it sickens me that I only get 3, 4, 5, 6 viewers. I can't believe this. This is important information. I've been putting it out for a long time. I don't know. And I do want to say at the moment, I do appreciate the fact that I've got right now almost 2,000 followers. I've got almost 3,000 friends again. I went through the second time. I've gone through my list, got up to 5,000, then deleted 3,000. I'm not afraid to delete people that are sitting on their ass and not doing anything. And yes, I pay attention to those that donate. I pay attention to those that watch. I pay attention to those that share. I know who you are, and I love you. I love you regardless whether you're sharing or not. But pay attention and realize if you're not going to step up, I'm going to let you go by the wayside. Fools be fooled. I'm urging people to start paying attention. I'm showing you how it's done by doing it. I'm not sitting here and professing anybody else's will. I'm not even professing my will. I'm professing His will, and He's guiding me along the way step by step. And it's just making sure everything I do in every platform, every form, every informal setting, I'm making sure that I am first in pressing His word. I'm not going to let somebody else be first and press somebody else's false word. I'm going to step up. I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to start screaming over you and say, listen, you can't say that. This is fucking idiocy. Do you not realize your liability in that? So think about this. And again, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Love you.